Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for our live session. My name is Joanna Ramirez, and I'm the marketing manager at DataNext Solutions. Today, we're going to be taking a deep dive into the 7 advantages of cloud computing with our guest, Sejan Baig, the CEO of DataNext. C, why don't you tell us a little bit about DataNext?
Yeah, thanks for having me. So DataNext we formed in 2017, and we have expertise in different areas. We're a company focused on cloud computing, big data, machine learning, security, and DevOps solutions. And we have experts who are experienced, who have 20 plus years of experience, and our focus is to provide how high quality technology solutions to enterprises, small, medium businesses, and startups.
Awesome, Z. Thank you so much. Okay, so now we're going to get into the 7 advantages. The very first one is cost. As you know, as businesses grow, the cost of IT hardware and software and IT staff increases. So what is one way where we can save money when we're adopting the cloud or transitioning to the cloud? See.
Yeah, so one of the biggest advantages of moving to the cloud is the cost. For example, you're starting a project, you have to do a lot of planning before you actually start any IT project. In the past, you have to estimate how much hardware you need, how much software licensing you need, how much staff you need. And with cloud computing, this is like right now, it's kind of this variable is gone. So you can actually do a quick proof of concept, move into the cloud, and as your demand needs, basically you can have basically you can scale up and down the cloud, and based on your demand or requirements or capacity, you pay for what you use only. You don't have to keep your servers running 24/7 if nobody is using your workloads in, for example, after hours development environment. You can shut down that server so you don't pay for electricity or anything. Another benefit is like the cloud gives you is like a lot of the capital expenditure before, like I said, when you start a project, you have to estimate, you have to have a budget. Okay, we are spending the X amount of money on the cloud, on the project itself. Um, and that is like a capital expense. And what if your project fails? If your project fails, that means that money is kind of gone. With cloud, like that capital expenditure becomes more operational expense. So you pay what you use. If you're using one server, you pay for one server. If you are running the workloads only for a couple of hours, you pay for only a couple of hours. You don't have to, keep your cost running all the time. And renting a data center is expensive and all these things. But with cloud, you have a lot of flexibility with the cost.
Great. No, yeah, that I can see why that's definitely an advantage. What about speed and agility? We know that technologies are constantly changing every day. So in order to stay competitive, we really need to stay up to date with these technologies. So how is transitioning to the cloud a benefit when it comes to speed and agility?
Yeah, I mean, again, this is huge benefit of moving to the cloud. Speed and agility. For example, you started a project, and only, for example, your site goes viral all of a sudden, and you need capacity of 10,000 people, for example, 10,000 users. You can scale on demand. Like if you need, for example, you're out of disk space. In traditional IT world, you're like ordering the hard drive. It takes a week to order, and then it's you have to approve purchase orders. All these complexities with the large enterprises usually comes, and then uh, you have to plug that, you shut down the data center, plug your hard drive in, and then bring up. So with cloud, is speed and agility. Basically, it's on demand. You can just scale up and down whenever your requirement is, and that gives companies and businesses up running all the time. And the capacity planning is kind of uh, removed from the equation with the cloud speed and agility benefit.
Right. Wow. Yeah, so they're able to scale pretty quickly. That's good. What about on a global scale? To stay competitive again in this digital age, you need to have businesses all over the world and be able to connect with all over the world. So how is this a benefit?
Yeah, I mean, if you are like with the power of internet, you can go global in minutes. With the cloud computing, for example, a North American company, they need to spin up some. They have users or customer in Australia. It takes few minutes, click away that you have, you can have a presence there online. And you need to give a good experience to users as well. For example, uh, you have Asian people accessing North American servers. It takes latency to access those sites and all these things. But with the cloud global scales, you can have your data and your workloads where your users are. For example, you have people, you have a business in India. You can run your workloads in the cloud in Indian data centers instead of running all the way into North America. Same thing with the security purposes of Europe, GDPR, for example. Their requirement is the data should be in the European region. So basically, with the cloud, you can have like global presence where your users are. You can spin up services, and you can pay wherever um, the usage of the cloud basically would
Right.
be.
Yeah, it keeps everyone connected. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
How does the cloud increase productivity in the work environment?
Yes. So cloud basically the you can say the popularity of the cloud is because it gives a huge productivity benefits.
Mm,
Uh, in traditional IT worlds, for example, you're running hundreds of servers or thousands of servers. You need people to actually take care of those servers. You have to keep up the security patches. You have to install and configure all the new versions or latest servers, softwares. So that takes a lot of time and a lot of you can say involvement in it, and
mm,
that's actually hurt productivity in a sense, because if
right.
you're just doing patching and installing and all these things. I mean, I've been in IT for about over 20 years, and I've seen things back like it was pretty common that IT people are working over a weekend because they don't want to affect the users who are using
Right.
the systems during weekdays. So IT people
Right.
were working late nights and deploying workloads all
Right.
over the weekends. But now
Mm.
with the cloud computing, on average, like Amazon and Google, I think they're deploying a new code change every 11 seconds or 15 seconds,
Oh,
as
wow.
per some study. So I mean, things are that why it's happening because of the cloud computing. You're like product you keep deploying new features, new code changes, new
Right.
bug fixes without impacting anything.
Right. To make sure everyone stays productive. No, that's great. Okay, now we're moving on to reliability. Customers' expectations these days is that your technology is working 24/7. So how can cloud computing help in this area with reliability?
Yeah, so like before cloud computing, you can say the disaster recovery, and you can say backup and recovery and all these things, business continuity was like mostly talk for the large enterprises because they could only afford it. For example, you have a workload of 10,000 users, and if you cannot hold on to that, you probably losing business. I mean, uh, in my experience, like I worked on a project where my customer was losing $10,000 an hour
Wow.
if their website is down. So so it's pretty important. But with
Right.
cloud computing, they can scale up and down. They can have like efficient backups, automatic backups of the system setup. They have a easy to set up a disaster recovery and business continuity plan because they don't have to buy hardwares or anything to support that, because cloud resources could be cloned easily. And
Right.
that's how where the development and operations, we call it DevOps practice, comes in, that you keep up and running all the time your sites, or you can say your workloads in the cloud. So this is cloud reliability is huge benefit for the small to large enterprises.
Definitely. Wow. Okay, so performance. Several statistics and studies have shown that if your website is not running in 5 seconds or 3 seconds, that users come and go, or they, because our attention spans are very short.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, we have very short span, attention span now these days. Like if something is not working, we try to tap things and move on to another side. That means
Right.
a business is companies are losing business if your customer is looking at the site and takes ages to load. I mean, I will move on to some other website. And the
Right.
benefit of Amazon.com and other things are because the other companies didn't kept up with all the capacity and demands and all these things. But talking about the performance also, like in traditional IT world, um, there is like a usually cycles every 5 years comes when you purchase a new hardware or upgrade the new systems, or
Mm-hmm.
some companies even more, like it's like 10 years old systems running, 15 years old system running.
Wow.
Nobody wants to touch those systems because nobody know what is happening. But
Right.
performance wise, cloud gives you, you have all, every time you have the latest and greatest CPUs and capacities and all these powerful machines are
Mm-hmm.
available just a click away. So I mean, if there is a new version, new CPU came, you have the option to actually move to new, so that gives you performance benefit.
Yeah.
Also, for example, if you're running a small workload, but all of a sudden you need more capacity, more memory, more hard drive, it's just a click away to actually, get that performance, expected performance.
Yeah, extremely efficient. Makes sense. And then lastly, I think we have security. We know that one of the biggest challenges people face when adopting the cloud is they're not sure if they'll be opening up themselves to risks, cyber risk and attacks. So how can we keep our data secure in the cloud, and how is security a benefit when you're moving all of your information to the cloud?
Yeah, I mean, this is like a big debate if is cloud is secure or
Mm-hmm.
not. And
Right.
in my opinion, I think cloud is more secure than your traditional data center because,
Mm-hmm.
as per recent surveys and all these things, insider threat is more dangerous than external threats. For example, people working in your own organization might hurt uh, your business more than they are causing data breaches and other things than the external threats. So
Oh,
that's I mean, that's not my wording, but we have seen cases like that. Also, with the security, like basically clouds has a shared security model, so people are confused about it, like that they think it's not their responsibility when they put everything in the cloud. It's a
mhm.
shared responsibility model. A lot of the platform related stuff, it's basically responsibility of the cloud provider, service provider like Amazon, Azure, or Google Cloud. But
Mhm.
the data is a responsibility of your responsibility. So whatever data you put in the cloud, it's your responsibility to protect
Yes.
it as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there are like, we can talk about it for hours on the
Yeah,
security, and hopefully we'll do another session on talking about the cloud security in more detail.
definitely. Definitely.
But again, cloud provides you all the latest features. For example, you need a multi-factor authentication, or you need like, single sign-on features. All these security services are available in the cloud, and you can just plug and play whatever your requirements are. And that's one of the benefits using cloud as a security, platform.
Gives organizations peace of mind for sure. Okay, and that wraps up our session today. Just a quick overview. We touched on cost, speed and agility, global scale, productivity, reliability, performance, and security, the 7 advantages of cloud computing. Like we said, there's numerous of benefits, but these are some of the main ones that we touched on today. Z, do you have any final thoughts you'd like to share before we go?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't hurt to experiment with the cloud. For example, my suggestion is like, if you want to learn more about that, how things works in the cloud is really giving me benefits on cost and something, uh, work with the partner, and we can actually help you to find out, okay, how much money you can save, or how much speed and agility, or how much productivity you can get, or performance benefit you can get when using to the cloud computing. And
Right.
I mean, uh,
Oh, we can even do a proof of concept in 1 week, right? So
yes,
if anyone's interested in that as well.
yeah, so if you need any proof of concept done, we are offering 1 week proof of concept offer. So you can contact us, and we can provide more information about it.
Awesome. Thanks, C. And if you'd like to learn more about DataNext, you can visit our website at www.datanextsolutions.com, or you can email us, call us. The contact details are up on the screen. And of course, if you want to stay up to date with the latest news and tech tips, you can follow us on our social media, also displayed on the screen. And yeah, thanks guys for joining us. See you next time.